Hey everyone, this is Avilas back here again from Selenium Express, and in this video we're going to be solving the challenge number 7. And in this video we're going to be creating a button for our reload functionality. So if somebody want to reload the game, then obviously they should have some option in our application, and that's something that we're going to be developing in this particular video. I hope you're excited. And before you jump into the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and do share this video with your friend if you are finding this series helpful, and obviously follow me on Instagram and post issues on my Facebook group, and follow me on Facebook as well, just to get updated with the contents that I'll be creating in future. So that's it. So let's just get started. Alright then, so right now let's just go ahead and let's just run our application. So I'll collapse first of all everything. I think I can directly start my application from here, and my guess the word game is started. And right now I think sister is a random word which has been chosen. Actually I'm printing the word just for the developer, right? So I don't have to play the game. Actually I can keep on guessing the word by looking into the console here. So if I'll go to my game home page, you can see there are 5 tries remaining over here. Now the problem is, if somebody is guessing everything right, then that's fine, the tries are remaining as 5. But the problem is, if somebody is giving some wrong guesses, you can see tries remaining are decreasing. And now after 5 trials the game is getting over, and you can see these text boxes are right now disabled. Now if the user want to go ahead and play again, then what they have to do, they have no option right now. So they have to go to the IntelliJ IDEA, and they have to restart our application. If they restart our application, again a new word will be chosen over here. You can see right now the new word here is right now hello. And now if I'll go here and refresh our application, I should get a new word here, and that's hello right now, HELLO. You can see the characters. So obviously this won't be possible for an end user to go to the application wherever it is deployed and to restart the server. Okay, that should not the end user supposed to do. Rather we should give them a reload option. If they hit reload, this word will be changed, or if the game is over, they can hit the reload to have another word to guess, right? So that's something that we're gonna be doing right now. But how? So first of all, let's understand how we are getting a random word. Each time we start our application, we get a random word. So how that thing is happening? So you can see right now we got a new word. So obviously, by looking blindly to this application, if I give a reload option, if I click on that, and if that restart my application, I should get a new word over here. But before implementing something like that, let's understand how this is even working. So obviously this random word that we are getting from our controller. So whenever we hit this request game home, okay, we are getting this functionality over here. So let's just see in our game home page, source main Java controllers, in our game home endpoint, which is right here, how we're getting the random word. We're getting the random word from here. By calling the toString method of the game service. Okay, and here we're getting a random word which is initially is hidden like this, and later we are basically making guesses by using this add guesses method. But now I want to drag your attention to this game service function call, or the method call that you are doing for the toString. This is giving you the random word. Okay, so this game service here is this is where we have created the object of game service and we have auto-word it. So how we are getting the random word whenever we are calling the toString method? To understand this, let's just go to this game service instance and let's just go inside this class by doing a control click. And you can see we have the word pools over here, and inside this word pool we have many words, and we are picking up one of this word from here. But how we are doing it? So you can see if I drag down to the constructor, this is a game service constructor, and whenever we are creating the object of game service, and obviously that will happen through the component scanning, as we have the @service annotation. And if you go to our main application, it has the Spring Boot application annotation. If you go inside this, it has the component scan. So whenever you are starting this application, a component scan will take place. Okay, the component scan will take place, and obviously it is going to scan this class as it has a service annotation, and it will create the object for this game service. And whenever it will be creating the object, it will be utilizing this constructor, and here it is going to find a random word from our random words array. You can see the array name is random words, and a random index it will find from the array, and it will assign it to this randomly chosen word, this string. And that's how initially how we are choosing a random word. And now the thing is, whenever we are starting our application, at that time the component scanning is happening for the game service, and the object is getting created for the game service through the constructor, and this randomly chosen word string is getting initialized. And that's why in order to get another randomly chosen word, we have to restart our application, because when you restart your application again, this object will be created by Spring, and obviously a new word will be chosen over here randomly. Okay, that's how we have implemented the thing. Right now it is string. Now let's say if I'm going to be restarting our application, next time also there will be a new instance of game service will be created by Spring through the constructor, and the constructor will basically create a randomly chosen word by looking into the array over here. And right now I can see the word is mother. But now what I'll be doing, I basically do not want to restart my application again and again. So basically what I want to do, if I can create the game service instance whenever I need. Let's say if I want to reload my application, then I just need a new instance of game service. If I'll get a new instance of game service, then obviously this constructor will be called to create a new instance of game service, and obviously I'll be getting a random word from the array over here. Okay, so I just want to create a new object of game service using this constructor, and every time I create a game service object, I should be getting a new randomly chosen word because of this constructor, because of this line. Okay, so how can we create a object on demand? So the challenge over here is, whenever I'll be needing a game service instance, I should be getting a new game service object created by Spring, so that this constructor can be called to create that object, and obviously I should be getting a new randomly chosen word. This will not happen originally, because originally, you know, the default scope of the Spring Bean. Right now we are creating a Spring Bean over here by creating this, by using this annotation called @service. But whenever the Spring creates object, by default all the classes will be of singleton scoped. So every time you will be asking for a game service object, Spring actually going to give you the same object which has been created during the component scanning. What I mean by that is, whenever we do the component scanning, a game service object will be created and will be there inside the application context or inside the Spring container. And every time you ask Spring that, okay, get me the game service object, it will give you the same object which has been created and stored inside the container, and it will be keep giving you the same object every time you ask for the object of the game service. But now what I want, whenever I need a game service object, I want Spring to give a new game service object each time. I do not want the default scoped bean, which is singleton scoped bean. You know, like the default scope of the bean is singleton. If you are not sure about this, check out my bean scope video. I'll be link it over here in the I button. So the default scope of the bean is singleton. That's why the container returns the same object every time whenever you ask for the object. Now what I want to change the scope of this game service. What I want is I will be changing the scope to this. I'll be writing the scope and I'll be making it prototype. And the reason why I'm making it prototype scoped, prototype. Okay. Once I change the scope of this bean to prototype, the good thing here is every time I'll be asking for the game service instance, I will be getting a new instance of game service. So every time I ask Spring that, okay, Spring, get me a new game service object, Spring will do what? It will create a new object of game service by calling this constructor and will return me that object. In that case, this line will be executed and I'll be getting a new randomly chosen word over here. And that's what I need. I just want a new game service instance every time. So we have already implemented it by changing the scope of this. Now, how we'll be doing it further? Let's just see that. So right now, if I'll go to my game controller, here you can see I'm calling the toString method of the game service. Okay. And this toString method is actually going to hide the randomly chosen word and is going to be returning it. And that is the implementation we have given it over here. So inside our game controller, whenever we call the toString method on top of the game service instance, it is going to give us a randomly chosen word. Now this game service instance is given by Spring by doing a auto word. So now what I want to have a reload functionality. Okay, I want to have a reload functionality over here. Let me maximize it. And what I want here, let me just have some white spaces and I'll be having public string and reload game. Okay, and I want to create a new endpoint here, get mapping, and I'll be creating a endpoint here called slash let's say reload game, reload, let's say, and here I'll be returning a string. For now, let me just return a empty string over here. Okay, so what I want here, whenever somebody is going to call this reload endpoint, I just will assign a new instance of the game service over here, because right now the function call that we are doing over here toString, this function call we are doing on top of the game service, right? And this game service, if you know, it is basically initializing this randomly chosen word whenever we'll be creating the object of the game service. It is basically injecting a new randomly chosen word to here, and then the toString is basically hiding it. So if I will give you a new game service object every time right over here, then obviously, right now Spring has auto-word the object, and this is the object which has been created during the component scanning, during the initial object creation process. And now I'm calling the toString method on top of it, right? So I'm getting that randomly chosen word. But let's say this reload method is going to do what? It is going to give you a new game service object. Imagine it will give you a new game service object like this, a new game service object, right? Then what will happen? Then obviously if you'll call this constructor, then again you'll get a new randomly chosen word, right? And that will be assigned over here. And if I'll go back right now, if we can do that, if I'll go to my controller, if we can do that, this game service will be getting a new object. And then again, if you'll call the toString method, you'll get a new string object over here. Okay, new random object or a new random string over here. So that's something that we're going to be doing, but we will not be creating a new game service object like this, because we are using Spring, and obviously Now we have to assign a new game service object over here. Okay, and the goal is that the game service object, the new game service object we have to assign. And if we want to create a new game service object, how can you do it? You just need to ask the Spring container that get me a object of game service. And whenever you'll be asking the Spring container that get me the object of the game service, the Spring container will get you a new game service object, because the scope is prototype right now. So every time you ask Spring that get me the game service object, it will give you a new game service object, right? That is how the prototype scoped Bean works. So we have already experienced it through the theories. Now let's just see, like, how we can do that. To do it, basically what I will do, I will go to my utility class, and inside my utility class right now, I'll go ahead and create, I'll just go into the game utils class right now, and right here I'll have a method called public, let's say void reload functionality I want to have. And right here, what I just want to have a new game service object. This method should get me a new game service object, right? So what I want a new game service object here. So this should be the functionality of this service method. Let me make it null for now. Okay. And basically I just want this reload method to give me a new game service object every time. So this object, it should return. So how we'll be implementing it? So I just want a new game service object. So to whom I should ask? To Spring. So Spring means what? Where Spring manages his object? It manages his object inside the application context. So where Spring is having the application context, if we'll go to our main application, guess the word application, you can see right here, we are calling the run method. And if you understand the Spring Boot concepts, and if you understand how Spring Boot works internally, you know this run method creates the application context behind the scene. So if I'll go over here and hit Command Option V, and you can see it is going to return you a new configurable application context. And this is the container of Spring where it has the objects, where Spring creates all its object and put it inside the container. And this is your container object called configurable application context, and it extends application context, right? So this is basically your application context object that the run method basically returning. We don't have to return the object over here. We just need to understand the run method basically returns the application context that it creates behind the scene. In Spring Boot, you don't have to create the application context by yourself. The run method is actually creating it behind the scene. So now what we have to do, we have to go to the game service and we have to take an object of application context. The run method is basically creating the configurable application context object. This is your container or your application context. So this object your run method is creating behind the scene. So I don't have to create, I can just auto add it. And now this is your application context or your container. So I can go down to my reload method. So not here. We don't have to create the configurable application context object right here. Rather, I can go to my game utils.java, and right here I will create this the object over here, and I can auto add it. Why I'm creating this object over here? Because right now this is my container. In my reload method right now, right here in my service class, I will be doing what? I will be just doing a paste. I'll just do container. Get me a bean. A bean of what? A bean of game service. Okay, game service dot class, right? Now this is going to do what? Whenever you call this reload method, it is going to ask the container. This is your container application context that, okay, get me a bean of game service. And every time you ask for the bean or object of game service to the container, as this game service scope is right now prototype, it is going to return you a new game service object. The way it is going to do it, it is going to call this constructor. And if it is going to call this constructor, it is going to assign this randomly chosen word, and it will be getting a new word over here. And now I feel our job is successful. So if I'll go to my game utils class right now, it will here we are asking the container to get a new game service object, and we are returning it. So this is a reload method from the utility class, or for one of our helper class that we have. And we'll go to the controller right now, and this is our utils object over here, game utils. And inside the game utils class, we have just created the reload method. So let's just call this method in our controller. So I'll go over here in a reload game method. Right here, I will just call the reload method right here. So it is going to get you a new game service object, and that game service object, I'm assigning it to the original game service object right now. Okay, so what I'll be doing right now, this reload game method is just going to set a new game service object here, and it is going to assign it to this game service object over here. It is just changing the object and giving it a new object. Okay, and then I will just redirect. I won't do anything else. I'll just redirect. I'll just do return, and I'll redirect to my home page, my main endpoint, okay, where all my logics are there. So I'll just copy this, and I'll go over here, and I'll just say return, and I should write redirect. Sorry, redirect colon, and then the endpoint. So that's it. Okay, now understand what is going to happen. If somebody is going to hit this reload endpoint, then this reload method will get you a new game service object. It is going to assign it to here, and then we are just going to redirect it to the game home page, right? Whenever somebody hit this, we're going to be redirecting to the game home endpoint after setting the game service. And inside the game home endpoint, what is happening? As usual things, right? Here again, the game service, the toString method will be called, and this time this game service object, we have changed it through that reload method. So you can see this toString method will get you another string back. Whatever the string has been randomly chosen, it will just hide it and it will give you back, and rest of the things will be, as usually will be invoked, right? So I think we have done it. So let's just test our reload endpoint right now, and let's just see whether we are going to actually get a new word whenever we are going to hit this endpoint. And whenever we'll be hitting this endpoint, it is actually going to redirect to the same game home page right over here. Let's just see whether that is happening. All right, so now let's just go ahead and test it out. So I'm on my game home page. Let's just do a enter, right? So what is the word which has been randomly chosen right now? So let me just check my console here. So it is father right now. So do enter, FATHER. Okay, this is good. Now let me hit reload. Okay, so this is a different word right now. You can see the moment I hit reload, it's again redirected to me to the game home page. So now the randomly chosen word is what? It is sister right now. Can I just hit another word? Let's say a reload again. Now the randomly chosen word is mother. Can I hit another time? Reload, and you can see it is right now father again, right? So you can keep reloading by hitting this endpoint. So this is just going to reload your stuff, and it will give you a new word. And you can see right now it is changed to a 4-letter word. And if you'll come over here right now, the new word is Java. So this is 4-letter. So this is how you are keep on getting a new word over here whenever you are basically hitting the reload. Okay, now it is hello. So now also you can test it out if you're gonna go to more tools, and if you're gonna go to the developer tools, and right here, if I'm gonna be hitting this reload, you can see first this reload, what happened here, whenever I hit this, there is a 302 found. 302 means it's a redirection status code. So the redirection happens from this reload to the game home, right? And the game home is giving you a 200. Okay, so you can understand the reload is happening over here. So that's fine. So whenever we are hitting our endpoint, first the request is coming to the reload endpoint, and this is just going to set the game service object to a new one, and again it is redirect you to the game home page where the operation goes again step by step in the same manner. Just here the object is different, so we're going to be getting a new toString, a new randomly chosen word over here. Okay, so that's it. The functionality is working good. So let's just do one thing right now. So I think we have developed everything. Let's just call this endpoint from our front end, because we should not ask the user to enter the reload endpoint by themselves to reload the game. Rather, we need to give a button kind of thing over here. Okay, so what I will be doing right now, I'll be going to the front end of my application. I'll go to the resources, I'll go to the templates, and I'll go to my HTML page right now. And over here, okay, where I should be creating that button, maybe I can create it over here. And over here, let's just create a button. Let me just write a input type equal to button, and value is equal to reload. Okay, so reload, and the value is reload, and maybe the ID I can give this button an ID. Maybe I can just say a reload or something. Okay, so ID doesn't matter, the value does matter. And also what I want, this this button should populate over here on the right side. So maybe a little bit of styling thing I'll do. So style, and I'll just write float to right. Okay, let's just see whether this works or not. Okay, can I come over here, do a refresh? So let's just do a refresh. Okay, now this is on the right side. Okay, this looks good. Right now the button came here to the right. Okay, so now the next thing that I'll be doing here, whenever somebody is clicking this button, what I want to do, an event should be fired. When I click this button, there should be a request. Okay, there should be a request goes to the endpoint that I have just created. When I click that button, I want this reload endpoint to be called, so that my functionality that I have inside this method will be executed. Okay, so to do that, what I'll be doing, when I click on this, I want to navigate to this reload endpoint. So I'll go to my HTML, wherever I have created this reload button. What I'll be doing here, I'll be having a function call. So I'll be doing on click, and I'll be basically calling a JavaScript function here. So I'll be creating a function that reload game. Okay, I'll be calling this function. So I'll copy this. I'll go to my script. Here I have my JavaScript. Here I'll be creating another function. So I'll be just writing function, then paste the name of the function, and I'll just zoom in a little bit. And here this function should do what? Whenever that button will be clicked. So I have a on click function here. Whenever this reload button will be clicked, right? Whenever this button will be clicked, this function will be called. Inside this function, I'll be just doing window dot location dot href. Okay, and I'll be giving the link over here. Okay, so my link is http://localhost:8080 is my port number. Then my URL, I want to navigate to this endpoint called reload. So copy this, go to your HTML page. In your JavaScript function, just mention your endpoint right now. Let's just see whether that is happening right now or not. This is a function that we have called a reload game. And whenever I'll be calling this function, I should go to this endpoint. And this is an on-click function that I have mentioned over here. Okay, reload game. I think this is it. Okay, let's just taste it right now. So I'll just save it. I'll go over here. I'll just do a refresh. So now if I click on reload, anything happening? Because I can see the word is still 6 letter. Let me do one thing. Let me just do a restart and see whether this is working. So I'll be restarting it. Okay. So I think everything is saved. I'll go over here. I'll do enter and reload it. Can I click on this? Yeah, now it is changing. You can see I'm getting a new word over here. So every time I do reload, I'll be getting a new word. You can see right now it is mother, previously it was hello, now it is light. Now my reload function is working good. So if I'll clear my console, if I'll come over here, do a reload, you can see this word changed over here and the word is actually a hello. So you can come over here and can guess it right like this, H and then O, then L, then E, right? So it's working good. And then if you want to try this game one more time, click on reload. So it is going to give you a new word. So we are done with the challenge that we are trying to develop, and it's all working good right now. But I think there will be a problem which might happen, and let me just give you a little bit of hint, like, you know, what is the problem that I'm talking about right now. I feel like, you know, you guys will be stuck if I'll wrap up the video over here, because what I feel, let's say there is some word which has been randomly chosen and somebody is trying, okay, and let's say somebody has trying some characters, and now he already entered 4 wrong characters. Right now only 1 trial remaining. Now let's say if he is giving another wrong word over here, now the game is over and the tries remaining is 0. Now if I'll do OK, now these boxes are disabled, right? Now what is the option? Now somebody has to do what? He has to do reload to get a new word. Now if you'll do reload right now, you can see still it is saying game over. And now you can see you got a new word over here. And now if you'll go over here to the IntelliJ, you can see you got a new word here called Java. But you will not be able to play it because these boxes are blank. Why? Because the tries remaining is 0. Now if you are doing reload over here again and again, you will be getting new word over here. But the problem is you won't be able to play the game because the tries remaining is still 0. So we also have to reset our trials. Whenever somebody is doing reload, we need to make sure whatever the state of his trials are, let's say 3 or 2 or whatever, if he does reload, then we have to reset the try. Okay, so what I'll be doing, so whenever somebody is doing reload over here, okay, so what I want to do, I also want to reset the try over here, reset the tries to the initial value. Okay, so to do that, what I'll be doing, I have this game utils class, right? And this is the helper class where we are basically having our tries. The maximum tries are 5. So here I just want to create a new method, and I'll say this method is public, let's say void reset tries. Okay, this function is going to do what? It is going to reset the tries value whenever I'll be calling it. So this is not going to do anything. It is just going to do what? This max tries. Okay, if somebody is making some wrong guesses, the reduce try method will be called, and it is going to reduce the try by 1. But if I click on reset try, it is just going to do what? It is just going to initialize the max tries to the initial value, which is 5 right now. Okay, that's what the reset tries is going to do. Now what I'll be doing, I'll be going to the game controller, and whenever somebody is going to do a reload over here, I'll also do what? I will do game utils dot reset tries, and this is going to reset the tries values to the initial character. And once that's done, I will be redirecting to them to the game home page, and then whenever I'll be sending the remaining tries and I'll be getting the remaining tries over here, this will be obviously the initial value, which will be 5. Okay, so let's just see whether that works. So if I'll come over here, I'll go, let me restart my application one more time. If I'll come over here, okay, let me just do enter. I just got a word over here. Let's say I'm just making all wrong guesses. Now my tries remaining are 2, tries remaining are 1, and now the game is over, right? Now if I'll do reload, this should be reset to 5. Do reload, and there you go. I got a 4-letter word right now that I have to guess, and I have 5 trials remaining. Let's say I'm writing J, and let's say I'm writing A, and let's say it's Java. I know the word, but let's say I'm entering some wrong guesses for few times. Now I'm in the tries remaining are 3. Now I just want to reload the game. Okay, now I can see that again the tries remaining went back to 5 because I have a new word over here, and my reload functionality is working good right now, and my tries remainings are also getting set to the initial value whenever some reload is happening. So I think we're all set, and that's it for the challenge number 7, where you have developed the reload functionality. In the next video, what we'll be doing will be just doing some error handling, because here somebody can really go crazy and can enter some words like this. Okay, he can enter some words like 5 or 10 or 15 characters. Obviously we'll be only considering this word with the code that we have written in the backend. We are only taking the character at 0, whatever the guest word that we have, or guest character that we have. We are only considering the 0th character, but somebody can really go crazy and can give us a lot of elements here, and this is an invalid input, and for that we need to prompt the user some error that you can only guess 1 character. So you should not enter something like this, or the user can give us some blank value like this, and if we do try over here, we are going with a index 0 out of bound exception. So we also need to look into this error scenario. Okay, and we need to populate some error over here whenever somebody is guessing a wrong character. And also if somebody is giving all the right guesses over here, for an example, right now the word that we have chosen is what? Is string, right? So can I just write S? Can I write T? Can I write R? Can I write I? Can I write N? And can I write G? Now I guessed everything right, and in that case I have to populate a success message here that yes, you have done it, and that's the word, and you have guessed it right. So I have to populate it like you own or something like that, right? So those messages and those error handling, this is something that we'll be doing in the challenge number 8. So I'm pretty much excited. There's some Spring Boot feature we'll be developing, and if you want to develop it by yourself, just try by your own, and if you want to do it with me, watch the next video. Till then, bye bye, take care, happy coding, and make sure you do subscribe, and you follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, share this video, and do subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, bye bye, take care, and happy coding.